Hi, welcome to the Steampunk collaboration put on by the Crafty YouTubers United. As you can see, I have a collection of cogs here. These came from my local craft store, and these here I actually 3D printed myself. I want to use them to build a framework to put in a mold, and I'm going to go ahead and put some of this UV resin on top of this cup here, and that will be my glue to put them all together. I also have some cocktail sticks here to help build the framework. I don't know how many I'm going to need just yet though, so I just brought several. This is the mold I'm going to be putting them in. It's my favorite frog mold. I have a general idea of what I'm going for already. And the legs here, I'm going to put these two identical cogs, and then I'll build off of that to make a larger structure. I'm going to use my flush cutters to cut off the pointy end of the cocktail stick so that it doesn't scratch my mold. I've had this mold for a very long time and it's obviously one of my favorites, so I certainly don't want it to get scratched up. I'm just getting a little dab of the UV resin here to adhere the stick to the cog. Okay, I'm just slipping it in the mold here to see how it fits and to see how long my stick needs to be. And the bloomin' thing came unglued. Lovely. Well, at least I can still put the stick in there and see how long it needs to be anyway. This time I'm just putting the stick itself in the UV resin, so I have a nice big blob there. Okay, I know I want a cog in the middle of the stick so that I can build the extra structure off of that. So I'm just going to use the UV resin to glue this one into place. Okay, now I'm going to add the other cog to the end of the stick. I just realized that the middle cog isn't centered, so I'm having to loosen it and readjust it. And naturally, because I had to manhandle it, the other cog fell off too. Yay! Okay, I'm gluing it back in place now that I have it decently centered. Just don't break out the tape measure, okay? There we go, now we have a basic structure to build onto. So this little cog has a bail on it like what you would use for a charm or a pendant, so I'm just going to use my flush cutters to trim that off. Now, I'm fully aware that cogs would generally interlock using their teeth, but I'm going to overlap these a little bit so that they glue together more securely. I'm pretty sure if I tried gluing them together by just their teeth, they would fall apart almost immediately. Well, I think that looks okay so far. I think I want to add another one to it to extend it on out, and I'm going to go ahead and open up this bag of cogs and see what we have in here. Let's see how this fits first of all, and see how much room I have to add an additional cog. The last cog needs to be a bit smaller because I want it to go right here under the neck. This one is nice, but I'm afraid it may be still a little too large. Yeah, I think this one is a better option. Okay, now that's more like it. I think I'll stop there on the structure because I don't want it to be too cluttered. Now I want to put something in the eyes. In my big bag of craft store cogs, I found these two identical odd-shaped pieces, and I'm hoping they'll fit nicely in the eyes. Now, obviously, I don't want them moving around everywhere, so I'm going to adhere them into the eye holes with some UV resin. I'm having a little trouble getting it to stay glued in. Okay, maybe I'm not using enough UV resin. I'm just going to use the bottle to put a blob in there. And I just discovered why they weren't adhering in there. My pen light just died. Okay, I went ahead and found a stronger UV torch and re-adhered the eyes. Hopefully they won't go anywhere this time. I think now I can go ahead and put the structure in. Oh, that fits nicely. That's great. Ah, crap. You know what? I forgot a step. I was going to paint everything silver so it all matched. I have this wonderful liquid chrome silver paint pen. It has almost a mirror finish. I tried to find one like it in gold, but so far no luck. I have lots of gold paint pens, but nothing with quite this level of shine. There we go, that looks a lot better. Okay, now I think I can put the structure in the mold. Okay, I've mixed up 120 ml of Craftor epoxy resin. I'll be using this Ranger alcohol ink in the shade Moss. Now, I'm not going to be adding a lot of alcohol ink to it because I want it to stay fairly translucent. I'm going to spray a little bit of alcohol in here just to help prevent any bubbles. I'm just giving his little chin a squeeze here because I know bubbles are prone to gathering there. I can't squeeze it too much because of the structure and the eyes in there. I could easily dislodge them, so I'm figuring that I'm going to have some bubbles in the end regardless. Okay, I'll leave that to cure. This is a day later, and now it's time to demold. Ooh, I love that color. It reminds me of a green apple Jolly Rancher. Well, because I kept my resin fairly translucent, I can see the structure in there just fine. That's great. Honestly, I think it looks pretty cool. But he's not quite done yet. I 3D printed this little wind-up key and then painted it chrome with that marker. I'm going to adhere it to his back with some UV resin so he looks like a cute little wind-up toy. And yes, I gave my UV light some fresh batteries. There we go. Isn't that adorable? I also found this little clock charm that I cut the bail off of, and I think I'm going to glue it right here under his neck. I honestly don't know why I'm adding it. Maybe he's like one of those alarm clocks that runs away from you when the alarm goes off. I could just imagine him rapidly hopping across the floor while blaring an alarm. Yeah, I think I'm pretty pleased with how he turned out. The fact that he looks like a little wind-up toy just makes me smile from ear to ear. Don't forget to watch the rest of the collab videos. I'll have it linked in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!